Okay, so for 6.5, at the top here I just copied down the formulas we just went over in 6.4. What I want to work on here is how to tell or how to find information when we're given our problems in triangle form. So what I mean by that is we're often given our problems that look like this, where we're asked to find sine, cosine, and tangent. So that's what we're going to do. Except that we're given that sine of theta is -3/5 and theta is in quadrant 3. So we're often given problems where we have to sketch the triangle in order to find out our information, and we're going to use exact values and get a number out as opposed to just an expression. So this part of, or this lesson, or this part of our block day, we're going to switch it to problems that you actually are going to be finding exact values based on a given triangle. So when we start this, we have to start by drawing out theta and finding all 3 sides of our triangle. So this one told us it's in quadrant 3. So I'm going to draw my theta in quadrant 3. And then it told me my sine is -3/2. So my opposite is -3. My hypotenuse is 5. I can do the Pythagorean theorem and I'd get 4. Now this is where we need to make sure we make it negative, because when we look at this length, it's going from 0 in the negative direction, meaning it needs to be a -4. So once we have all of this, we can go ahead and start figuring out our sine, cosine, and tangent of 2 times theta. So we have sine 2 theta using the rule or the formula that we just went over, or that you just watched in 6.4, we can write it as 2 sine theta times cosine theta. So this is where now I'm going to go to my picture and find out what is sine of theta and what is cosine of theta. So sine of theta is -3/5, and cosine of theta would be -4/5. I'm going to put the 2/1 so that I can multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and get my answer. So on top we have 2 times -3 is -6. -6 times -4 is +24 over 25. There would be your cosine, or sorry, your sine of 2 theta. Now we're going to go on to cosine of 2 theta. Now, because it doesn't specify, we can use whichever form of formula we want from our list of 3 here. So we can either do cosine squared minus sine squared, 2 cosine squared minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. They're all going to give you the same answer. So pick one and go with it. I went ahead and chose the 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And the only reason I chose it is because they gave me sine, so I don't have to worry about looking at my triangle. But it doesn't matter which one of the 3 you choose, they'll all give you the same result. So 1 minus 2, my sine was -3/5, and I'm going to square that. 1 minus 2 times, when I square 3/5, I get 9/25. When I multiply by 2, I'll get 1 minus 18/25. Here's where I need a common denominator. So instead of 1, I'm going to write 25/25 so that I can do 25 minus 18 and get 7/25. Again, had we done a different formula, we would have gotten the same result. You just might have had to come over here and get the -4/5 as your cosine to get there. All right, last up, tangent squared, or tangent of 2 theta. Let's see, I need to move this up a bit. So our formula for tangent was 2 times tangent theta over 1 minus tangent squared theta. So again, here we're going to need to go to our picture to read off our tangent. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we're going to have 2 times positive 3 over 4, because they're both negative, will give me a positive. And then on the bottom, we'll have 1 minus 3 over 4 squared. So on top, when I multiply those together, I end up with 6 over 4. And then on the bottom, I have 1 minus 9 over 16. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the top to be 3/2. And on the bottom, I'm going to make this 16 over 16. So I can do 16 minus 9, and that would give me 7 over 16. And this is where we have to think about our fractions. So we're going to I'm going to turn it into horizontal. So I'm going to keep the 3/2, change it to multiplication, and do the reciprocal of the bottom. So when I multiply across the top, I'm going to get 48, and on the bottom I'm going to get 14, which when I reduce will give me 24 over 7. That would be my double angle for tangent. Okay, so the other half of the lesson for the block day is going to be looking at these type here, where we have to sketch out the triangle and then find some information based on the sketch. And these are the ones that are always going to end up with actual numbers and not just trig values or trig functions as our answers. So we're going to do another one similar to this. We're not going to find all 3 with it. We're just going to have a problem that looks like this where we have to sketch it, and we're just going to find one of them. So go ahead and make sure you note any questions that you have, and then make sure you ask them on Wednesday, tomorrow, before we get started.